Welcome everyone. My name is Frank Felice and I'm from Sisu. We provide accountability software for real estate brokers, coaches, team leaders, and agents. And today we're going to walk you through the Sisu Team product. If any of you have seen the prior recording we did on the Sisu Pro mobile product, this is the Sisu Team web platform. So the Sisu Pro product works in conjunction with Sisu Team. The Sisu Team product really designed for large brokerages, for real estate coaching firms, even for agents that really want to increase their business performance, so they will include their transaction coordinator and maybe their external real estate coach. But it essentially is the web portion or the browser portion of our product, and used for data analytics, used for leaderboards, used for the gamification functions, and obviously how to increase the accountability of your individual agents. So we're going to do a quick overview today of the team product, and I will make sure at the end of the demonstration we'll make sure we in the YouTube comments to make sure that you have access to each video that I describe so that you can learn more about the product in detail. I want to give you first an overview of Sisu, our entry into the market, what we do, and the value proposition that we make. First and foremost, it is a definitely unique name, but Sisu as itself, distilled down for English, is a Finnish term that essentially pushes any individual through unbearable challenge, but taking a mindset of determination and grit. So it's certainly a core cultural element of our company, and essentially is the framework of the products that we provide, providing the ability for agents and brokerages to exceed their peers, to have a winning and competitive approach to their business. So it's very aligned with our culture itself. So going back to the foundation of the company and how we came about, working with hundreds of agents and brokerages through our discovery and automation and creating software products for them, what we realized is there are some unique real estate sales problems that we encounter with brokerages and agents, and obviously with real estate coaching firms, which they probably have found. They obviously have found these sales problems as well, because they're very successful and stay very busy. First, most agents, they do not treat what they do like a business in any capacity. That's most. Essentially, obviously, many of them are 1099 employees, so they have to act in a sales and marketing perspective. They have to take care of their own insurance. They have to make sure that their revenues are exceeding their expenses. But at the end of the day, looking back at it, they really don't treat it like a business. So we definitely found that out from our discovery. Second, many broker owners or brokerages or sales managers, most sales or real estate agents themselves, they do not know the key metrics that are going to drive their business. Key metrics meaning, how many contacts to appointments do I make? How many appointments do I have to do in order to get listings? How many listings do I need to get something under contract? How many under contracts do I need to close and to get through a settlement date? Essentially a sales cycle, and what those steps are and the timing in between those. Like I said, many broker owners don't know that, the entire cycle time, and most real estate agents don't know those as well. Many of them do if they spend the money and time to work with a real estate coach. Obviously, they're going to know those key metrics. So that was a problem that we discovered through our discovery of working with brokerages. Third, a little surprising to me, but most real estate agents have no idea how much money they've made to date. We've had stories from brokerages and transaction coordinators and admin staff that would say an agent came in and didn't realize they even had a $30,000 check there waiting for them. So obviously we felt like we had to tackle that problem, as to make sure that they knew how much they wanted to make, but obviously know how much they've made to date, and take it a step further to say, this is how much money you will make. So that was the problem we discovered. The three big glaring ones that we obviously noticed, which we thought were something to build our business around and to help the hundreds of customers that we have today, is most agents that we worked with that were making over 200,000 or more, they had an accountability coach, whether it's personal or real estate, or whether it's a combination of both. They had a resource that helped them in that capacity. Finally, those agents that were making over 200,000 a year, likely coming from whether going to a seminar, learning about it, or working with a real estate coach, they were tracking their numbers on a daily basis. Not only, if not tracking them, knowing them. So whether they were putting them in a spreadsheet or even putting them down on a piece of paper, they were tracking to know what their conversion ratios were, knowing that if they increased their contacts, they could increase their appointments. If they were increasing their contacts but their appointments weren't going up, they knew they had to work on their scripts. So those agents knew what their numbers were in order to build their business around it. So that was the problem, or the problems that we determined during our discovery in this industry many years ago. The solution. The solution that we've provided, we're going to give you a brief overview today, is whether you use merely the mobile product from the App Store or use our mobile products in conjunction with our team platform, it is an accountability software product that we designed for real estate brokers, coaches, team leaders, and agents that technically and programmatically solves the problems that we showed you. And we're going to walk through that today. The other key solution that we provided that many real estate coaches and those brokerages that track numbers, there are some amazing, unique brokerages out there that have solved this problem themselves using spreadsheets and things like that, which we can talk about. But when consistently used, we are going to increase your sales by at least 100%. That's at least 100%. So that's a pretty powerful claim. But what it means is we're putting together the metrics so that you know what drives your business. So many individual agents that track their numbers, they know that this is to be a true statement. Those brokerages that track it in a different capacity, they know those statements are to be true as well. So what it does is this product will rapidly pay for itself by increasing your output of your agents within a cycle time. If you don't know your cycle time of your transaction time of your various of large luxury real estate or transaction sizes of a certain amount, or your cycle time from internet leads compared to sphere of influence leads or sphere of influence leads of relatives, and you don't know what the cycle time is, you need to know your cycle time. You need to know what that is. So we rapidly pay for the usage of this product many times over because we provide those key metrics, those cycle times for you. The other solution, we're going to provide immediate access to agents and the activities for team leaders, brokers, and franchisors. Many franchisors or franchisees, the goal is to acquire ad agents, which is a fine strategy, but you have agents today, and to increase the output of your existing agents that are already trained and already productive, to add an additional transaction per month, add 2 additional per month, it is going to be a heck of a lot cheaper to increase the output of existing resources than to add existing resources or to have those resources quit or not be an agent anymore. That's what our solution does. We also provide your daily, your weekly, your monthly, your yearly accountability and numbers. We turn your business into a competitive game with gamification, leaderboards, and challenges, so that and all based around the numbers. So before we dive into the product in a little more detail, just to be, you watch the demo of our mobile product, many different types of variances of users that are going to be watching this, agents, brokerages, real estate coaching firms, whether you're tracking the information manually, because you don't have any system of any capacity, we provide a product to do that. Whether you are a historical legacy spreadsheet user and you're tracking all your data in a spreadsheet, we will import that data for you. The power of that is you can go back and look at your stats and your cycle times and your close ratios over the period of the spreadsheet data that we import for you. So we accomplish it that way. Or you have a real estate CRM system in place that's tracking of it. Many of them have a combined dialer, in addition to a transaction system, whether it's a .loop or DocuSign or BrokerWolf or any of the any of the solutions like that. We will take that data and put it into our system and visualize it for you, so we determine that. What we've learned through the discovery is many of these systems, they're not really designed for that. Their goal is to get you um, from a closing or from a lead to the next step real quick, give you some reminders, but at the end of it, analyzing it from a whole and putting a true accountability system in place to make sure you're getting your most out of your agents. It hasn't been a focus of these systems. But our vision, our strategy, our roadmap is we are not a CRM provider, but we will visualize the data of these systems in many different ways, put up competitive leaderboards and dashboards so that all the numbers, all the how to play the game is going to be visualized, and how you're playing the game at any given time. So with that out of the way, kind of gives you an idea as far as how the data getting into the system. Let's show you the output. So what we're going to do today for the demonstration is I'm going to show you the roll-up of all the data, kind of work backwards in a sense. So rather than starting on how data is inputted, we kind of briefly talked about that. You can also in detail see how it can be manually entered through the prior YouTube Sisu Pro product that I provided. And if I didn't specify, the Sisu Pro product is included with the Sisu Team product so that you can either visually look at the data that's coming from your CRM or your spreadsheets, or if you have no system, you can start entering the data with the mobile product. So for this demo, we're going to show, working backwards, how the data looks after it's been entered over a period of time. So let's start out from there. Okay, so once the user logs in, they can be presented with a number of different ways that they visualize the dashboard. This dashboard is a team roll-up dashboard or a brokerage roll-up dashboard of the data that's been entered in many of the ways that I described to you. You can see on the screen I'm displaying the current units or current number of transactions, the average commission, which we automatically generate with usage, the current team goal, the volume, team units under contract closed, contacts with those key ratios displayed, leaderboards. If you work in a team environment, or if you have a team in your overall brokerage environment, you may say, let's display our teams in conjunction with the personal dashboards, whether that could be mixed as well. What I'm doing is I'm really showing you a bunch of different ways that we can visualize the data on your dashboards, but what we call every one of these are cards. So when you roll out the Sisu Team platform, we have standard dashboards. However, we can make some adjustments so that you're only visually displaying the information that's valuable to you. What's a good example of that? A good example of that would be for maybe in your sales room or in your internet lead calling room, you might want to display how many calls you're for a calling contest. Therefore, you only want to display a dashboard or leaderboard on that monitor so that it increases the motivation of those users. So therefore, it's more important to just display a portion of the screen rather than the entire screen. I really just wanted to give you an idea of the information that we can track. In addition, because like I said, this is really designed to be on, it can be designed on or displayed on a big monitor. You have the ability to come in, view this, enter full screen, and see that dashboard or leaderboard up on a big monitor. Every 3 seconds, this data gets refreshed. So much more powerful than a spreadsheet. Your users are out in the field, they're doing listing appointments, or at open houses, they're updating the numbers, and the dashboards are updating live at any given time. Okay, this is one view of how the dashboard might be displayed. The individual user or the admin or a transaction coordinator, broker owner, recruiter may want to display it with a more of a white background. Okay, let's show some additional visualizations. Let's refresh this. And watch, if you would, on the screen, one of the features of the product here as my slow internet gets connected. Perfect. Okay, so if you noticed on the screen there a couple things. We're going to talk about colors, what the colors mean, and we're going to talk about this little black line that drew as the screen refreshed. Okay, so the colors, the way we've designed this product is from a visual perspective, we get a lot of questions about what the colors mean. And the way we instruct on it in our documentation states is moving from blue or cold to more warmer colors. You are getting closer to your personal goals. You're getting closer to the minimum goals set by your team or your brokerage. As soon as we convey it that way, it's always very clear to see whether you're winning or losing or need to do better. Okay, so another thing to kind of highlight on this is actually a live customer dashboard, is the black line that you see is a pacing line. The pacing line essentially means at today's date, we're in the 15th day of December, the team is currently at this line right here where they should be almost half. Well, I guess not almost half, I'm sorry. They're not, that's the location in which they are at this given time. That could actually display an actual, the amount if needed. You can see like closed, they've achieved their close goal of 3.7. They're at 3.7, which they've already hit the pace of it. So they're ahead of pace on track for 5 million. However, they're not on pace for under contracts. They've achieved, they're ahead of pace on units closed, because you can see the black line in the middle of the color. And you can see we have our leaderboards displayed here as well. In addition to contracts, appointments, they're ahead of pace for buyer brokers. They're way behind pace on listings. They've way achieved their closed pace. So we're displaying that at any given time. Again, just to make it very clear, the data is entered manually. The data can be entered in for your external systems in place or via a spreadsheet or even a combination of any of those. So also, let me kind of point out from a permission perspective is typically the brokerage will have a roll-up of this team data so that everybody can see. However, it is permission set. So if there are individuals you don't want to see this information, or if you wanted to restrict some users from drilling into the additional information, you do have a full profile and security system set up based on the dashboards and leaderboards and the display of data. So this is the roll-up of all this data. Taking a step back, working with agents in what we recommend a weekly, at least a weekly coaching event rather than monthly due to the quick transaction time of selling real estate. We also provide report where the individual agent can easily go in and see how well they're doing and performing at any given time based on those metrics. Now, if you obviously are the sales manager, the broker owner, or a real estate coach, you'll have the entire list of any one of the agents that you can go in and actively take a look at. Obviously, if you're an agent, you're going to have permission just to kind of come in and look at any given time how you're doing with your transactions. Again, working from those monthly goals that the team standard or the brokerage has set for you, in addition to what has been entered into the mobile app, meaning that's the personal goals of this agent. So in this example, Brett has a higher personal standard for his contacts in comparison to what the brokerage would want for Brett, which is a team standard of only 400. Again, we're showing from a color metaphor perspective, the interface metaphor, moving from blue or cold to more hot. You can see Brett is at 152 for actual, which is below his personal standard and below his team standard at today's pace of today being December 15th. Again, moving to appointments, buyer broker signed, he's ahead of the team standard. So you can see it's a warmer color. Under contract, he is, from a pacing perspective, he's equal to the team standard. And then importantly, going down to closing, he's exceeded his own personal goal and the team standard. And like we talked at the beginning of the demonstration, he knows at any given point how much money he has made today in this particular month compared to what he wants to make, all following that same color interface metaphor. Importantly as well is you want to increase engagement with your agents, obviously. We do, obviously. We want to continue to earn your business as far as you maintaining your subscription agreement. If you're a real estate coach, you want to make sure that their engagement increases, obviously. And importantly, as the agent, the engagement and usage of this system creates the habit of tracking. Again, it creates the habit of tracking by the usage of it. So we track the usage of the agent and using the system so that it starts to create the habit. Whether you're going to display that information on a dashboard or leaderboard as far as who is using the system, it's much more than a spreadsheet can do, because we are displaying real time whether they're using it daily, weekly, if they're doing it the minute before their coaching meeting, whether they're entering the data. We're tracking that because it's important to create the habit and create the engagement. Drilling a little bit lower into the pipeline, you can see that in his pipeline, Brett has 64,000 that if he moves it forward, he will make. He has an additional 10,000, almost 11,000 for those that he added, and all the way up to closings and projected closings. Again, we're not a CRM, but we want to break and show some of the cycles of each one of these transactions, and always visually showing Brett how much additional income he will make if he moves it to the additional stage. So as stated, any of this information as far as the clients and details of the transaction can be entered in manually through the mobile app like we showed you in the earlier webinar, or it can be added by a spreadsheet import, CRM and transaction data, a real estate CRM or transaction system that you have with live integration to those systems, in order to reduce the duplicate entry. So the last thing to just kind of really highlight for you is, I want to make sure we go through, let's see. And then finally, the data is only as good, obviously, as if you're going to visualize data and have people pacing towards goal and celebrating leaderboards, the data has to be accurate. So garbage in, garbage out, obviously. So if it's populating from your CRM the wrong way, or it's being entered in manually the wrong way, we do provide the ability for an administrator user or a transaction coordinator user or an administrative assistant to come in and edit the data so it visualizes it correctly, so that everybody's marching towards the same accurate representation of data. Our goal at Sisu is to provide an analytical system and leverage your data as intelligently as possible. So you can see a really nice view is we want to track everything from lead date and lead source all the way to the date in which your agent is getting paid. That essentially is the entire sales cycle time for this transaction. Again, the date that the lead came in, the type of lead, whether it was a sphere of influence lead or an internet lead, to the date in which you got paid. The reason being is, one, we want you to know what the entire sales cycle time is and every stage in between, from appointments, contacts, closed, under contract settlement date, and the timing of each one of those. But obviously, we want you to have more aha moments as you look at your data visually. Is one agent able to close an internet lead quicker than other agents? Is the time in which one agent is getting paid after settlement date longer than another? We want you to have those aha moments and be based on pretty visualizations. So we want to track the transaction as early as possible and all the way to the end, because many systems do not do that. But we want you to have more of those aha moments so that you can use your data and tell better stories with your data so you can better run your business. So I hope this webinar was very important, or this important webinar. We hope it was helpful to you. We look forward to hopefully having you reach out to us for more information, maybe to arrange your personalized demonstration of the Sisu product, talk about your unique challenges and business problems that you have, and talk about the systems in place, as well as maybe you're viewing this webinar where you've recently started to move to the Sisu team product. So feel free to go to our website, sisu.co, and feel free to request a more personalized demo of us or any other information we can help. We also provide to customers and to prospects the ability to chat right online with our support requests, or with our support service team. Feel free to ask us any questions. Again, my name is Frank Felice from Sisu. We look forward to hearing from you, and we look forward to helping you better use and leverage your existing data. Thank you.